When did you fall in love with comic books?
Ooh, I've been an active comic book reader since I was like in the fifth grade. There was some at my book fair at my old elementary school, and I wanna say I've just been fun with comics ever since then. I just loved it. I did take a brief break, like reading it, like in my maybe like late middle school, but then like once I got heavy back into the MCU and those movies, I started reading the comics again. I want to go back to the source material. So yeah, I've always been a good, I would say, active comic reader.
Doubt. And Eminent Comics. How did you come across the name Eminent Comics?
So Eminent Comics actually was not even the original name. My original name for it was Sammy J Comics. That's one of my aliases that I call myself. But as I started to take it a lot more serious, I was like, I want it to mean something. I want it to really stand for something. And imminent is imminent in itself means something that's bound to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to be there. And I just know that my comics are going to take off and they're gonna reach the next level per se, and so it's imminent to happen. And so I came up with the name Imminent Comics just because I wanted this to be something inevitable that's going to happen regardless, and it's going to carry a legacy with it. And that's what I'm building.
I like that though. That's a powerful word too. So good name. Definitely a good name. Take us into your flagship series. I know it's called the Entities. Give us an introduction, like if we don't know this universe.
So the Entities is a cosmic based series, and it's about these entities who make up the fabric of reality within my universe, and so they're very important in my world, and they're very essential. The main entity, Alpha, is the entity of time. He's the embodiment of time itself, and another main entity, Omega, is the entity of darkness. And what happens is the entities, because there's five of them, they went toward each other, and they pretty much all their energy was hit Earth. And so Alpha was sent to Earth to pretty much collect every human being that was affected by the energy that was came to Earth. But he kind of fell in love with Earth, and he wanted to stay there. So Omega was sent down to do the same thing, but he wanted to stay on Earth to pretty much enslave mankind and start an army for the entities. Because what's going to happen within the series is so important, especially the characters of Alpha and Omega, because they play a pivotal role in like every title. Not just the entities, they're going to play a role in every title because time is everywhere and essentially darkness is everywhere, and that's where they're pretty much the two most important entities.
Gotcha. So that's Alpha and Omega.
Yes, sir.
Well, that would make sense at the beginning and the end.
Absolutely. Alpha really represents rebirth and restarting, and Omega represents, the end, being death and darkness.
Gotcha. All right. So that was your flagship. That was the first series that you dropped, right? That you
Yes,
came out
sir.
with. That's when I met everybody when the algorithm brought me together with you and everybody else in 2020. That was the one that I recall. But I see you posting new artwork. So I see you cooking up in the kitchen. You want to give us a little glimpse into what you got cooking up there?
For sure. So what I'm doing right now is I'm collectively creating a omniverse. And this omniverse is going to be composed of my eminent universe, my homies Justin or Spiff, shout out to him, his Heartline comic universe,
Yeah,
and
I see
my homie
Hotline doing their
Roscoe, shout out
thing.
to him as
That's
well,
amazing.
his
Okay.
Boltverse. We are all operating within the same omniverse. So we're gonna have a lot of shared lore. We're building up to a big crossover event that's going to be epic. I can't wait for you guys to explore each of our titles. The crossover event that we're working out right now is called Overlaps, and that's when timelines from across the past, present, and future, they all start colliding with each other. And these are timelines from all across the omniverse.
Gotcha. I like that. I like that. I see Hardline doing their thing, man. They got some great imagery, some great characters. I didn't get the
For
chance to
sure.
check out any of the stories yet, but Definitely. I see guys are teaming up, forming Voltron. I seen 615 doing their bullets, beer and bullets crossover. I love to see guys playing in the sandbox. It's a beautiful thing. When you was
Absolutely.
coming up, you jumped into to it like 2020 when I started, and hindsight is always 2020. Any quick advice? Something you might have done different when you started. For anybody out there that's like watching or might want to jump into it and start doing their own thing, telling their own stories. Is there something you would have done differently or better, that now that you're looking back?
I definitely think that I would have like slowed down on the artwork because I when I jumped into it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get artwork of every single character that's in my mind. So I dropped a lot of money
Yeah,
just on pure, artwork. I would tell
yeah,
everybody to, write your stories out and also, find a team if you can because it's strength in numbers and it's power in unity. That's like one of my favorite sayings that I say now all the time. You know, to be successful, I do believe that you genuinely need a supportive team behind you. And so that would be my biggest advice to anybody that's about to do in indie comics is, find a team. And even if that's just one other person that really sees your vision and is willing to, help you in terms of, promoting you, help you promote when you post something, they own it, they posting it too, and if you can find somebody that's also trying to do indie comics, network with them, go to these comic cons, network with people and these indie creators because like I said, it really is strength in numbers.
yes. Great advice. Great advice. Some stuff I would have definitely done different too. And what do you love about comic creation and what do you hate about it?
Ooh, what I love about comics is the the fact that you can tell a story um that really, not necessarily that it doesn't make sense, but you can tell a story that's endless. Comics in itself is endless. They're not going anywhere. We have the trope in comics that nobody ever really dies in comics, and I actually love that. Except if you're Uncle Ben or somebody. But I love that fact. Comics are endless, and you can tell multiple stories. You can reshape stories, like you can retell the stories and add what you would have wanted to add the first time. I love that. What I hate about comics, woo, I would say that I feel like once characters get really popular, sometimes that's the only character that's focused on. You know, we don't give enough attention to what I feel like are underappreciated characters. If we're talking about mainstream, I feel like representation is definitely a problem. I don't feel like there's enough representation in the mainstream media. I don't know if you know about all this, little bit controversy going on with DC and even Marvel a little bit with them not really, putting out proper representation when it comes, to their black characters and other minority characters. So that's one of the things I'm not really big of a fan on. But when you have black creators like myself and other creators, we can definitely fill that void.
All right. And you're self-published, and you're doing your thing, bringing out your own works. So, what do you love and what do you hate about the indie community? Because you're a self-publisher. So, what are the things you have to deal with?
Indie community, I do love the fact that from my experience, it's really easy to network. It has been really easy to meet people, and just see other people that have kind of like a goal like you do. I love to see that. Because when I started it, I thought I would be like, man, I'm like the only one that's doing this, but it's not. It's a good amount of people that's out here
Yeah.
doing this as well. So I love the fact that I can network and get advice when I can from other people. I think what I hate the most is I would say that in the indie community, there can be a lot of fake love. And what I mean by that is that you'll have people that'll say, "Oh, I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna do this, do that," and or I can help you find somebody, and they don't really do that. I hate that as indie creators we don't support each other enough how we do. I feel like we just got to do better at supporting myself. Now, me personally, I'm the type of indie creator where I feel like I do have a responsibility to support and buy actual books from other indie creators, just because I want them to get a win for me can be a win for the next person if utilized correctly. Um, so yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of big love in the indie community. I ain't gonna hold you, they don't be 100 all the time.
Well, that I think that's gonna be in anything that any community. If it was music, if it was, I think that just goes for anything, especially in this entertainment field. Anytime you're dealing with, putting out projects, that you're always gonna get that. You got to come in here knowing that you gotta have some kind of blinders on and always remember why you're doing it. Don't get caught up in the nonsense. That inner child in you that just wanted to tell your story. You always gotta, once you always keep it about that pure reason, then you don't really have to stress about anything else. But anytime you see yourself getting knocked off your square where you're like, um what's the word I'm looking for, clamoring for the attention rather than enjoying the
Right,
journey, then you're going off center. You know what I'm saying to you? Because this does that, because we're looking for likes, we're putting ourselves out there,
yeah,
we're looking for eyes, so sometimes we get caught up on, hey, come check out my stuff, instead of saying, all right, Carl, let me breathe. Let me tell my story. Let me tell it in different ways. Let me put it out to the people. Let them experience the story. Work on those
right,
things instead of stressing about the other, things that you can't control. Because that's human nature. You're gonna get. And if you really do, in the back of your mind, want to achieve some success, you must also know that that's gonna come with it. Obviously, like why him? Why not? We all got our time. It's just that when the envy comes out, why him? I've been grinding longer. My shit's better.
right.
That's the demon. That's that bad angel on you. When you're the other angel, like, man, nigga, relax, bro. That's this man's time. Tomorrow is another man's time, and then it'll be your time. And then this journey is just preparing you for the destination. You know what I'm saying? At least that's the things that I tell myself. You know what I'm saying? Plus, going on, this is not real life. Like
No,
we
that's
trying to
valid.
comment about, I got a whole bunch of other things going on in my real life. So we got to really deal with
Right.
that. What's the next thing I wanted to get to? Oh, what's your favorite character growing up? Did that have any influence on any of your characters or the stuff that you built? Because we all standing on the shoulders of others. We're not the first to do this.
I definitely think that growing up, my favorite comic book character, it's a tie between Daredevil and Superman. Just like I said,
Oh,
Superman was the first
Daredevil.
comic book that I read, so I was kind of like hooked on him.
Okay.
But then when I started digging a little
Yeah, he's
deeper,
a
like
trooper.
Daredevil is really that guy. Like I love Daredevil. I
Yeah,
love
I
Matt
love
Murdock, his story. Um, and I feel like he has one of the best rogues gallery in Marvel. He's up there with Spider Man. So I
Yeah,
love
he does.
Daredevil. So I have to put him up there. It's either Superman or Daredevil. Definitely they're neck and neck with each other.
Yeah, I don't get a lot. The Man Without Fear. He was definitely, when I started in the early '90s. I just remember the striking covers. That's what drew me in. And then when I got into the story, and then Wolverine, he had his solo run. His covers were just amazing. Not knowing that I was living through the golden era. Now the guys are talking about it. I walked to the corner store and looked at that little turnstile and turned that shit on. I was like, what the hell? This art is amazing. I took that shit home. I traced it. Then I was like, all right, let me get off this tracing. Let me just draw it straight up. Like just looking at it, challenging myself, hanging it on the refrigerator. Daredevil really took me there. I really love the Daredevil run. So I definitely, the Man Without Fear definitely inspired me. But I like to play my game. We didn't. How many titles can we be looking for other than the entities? Because I seen you posted something else the night. What was that about? I'm curious. I'm like
Oh
a
yeah,
little
my
kid. I'm like,
Night of
what is it?
Adrissa.
Yeah, what's that? Can you give
Um,
us into that? I'm like a little
yeah,
kid.
for
When I
sure.
see striking art, I want to know who's this guy. You know what I'm saying? That's just who I am.
Yeah, Drissa is definitely one of my favorite characters that I have within my Eminent universe. He's really gonna set up a lot of our street tier stuff. He's Yeah, I'm not gonna say like he's like the Batman because I do have our own version of my Batman in my universe, but he's definitely one of those street tier characters. He's in my Eminent Comics Holy Trinity, so he's gonna be a face that you're gonna be seeing a lot, and I cannot wait to share his story. His first book is definitely gonna be dropping this year, so I just can't wait to share that.
So he
Along
might
with
be a
I have Mission.
daredevil too, like a street
He might
level,
be. He really good.
right?
Right.
Yeah, give him a good little gallery, make him the Daredevil type counterpart. I always love the rogue gallery because they always got to fight harder. You know, when they starting at the street level, their powers are not that OP.
Right.
So they got to fight a harder fight. That's what made me love Daredevil too. Their hands, he putting that hands on you, boy. All right, so I'm gonna go into my little game I like to play. It's called This or That. No right or wrong answers. Just which one you choose over the other at the time. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying to you? Couple of questions. We're gonna start out with Stallone or Schwarzenegger?
Still on.
Stallone. All right.
Yeah.
Peanut butter or jelly?
Definitely peanut butter. Can't eat no jellies there. Peanut
Yeah,
butter.
peanut butter guy. I no problem. Marvel or DC?
Marvel. Marvel.
No doubt. I was waiting on that. That's what got me into the game. Justice League or Avengers?
Justice League.
A lot of stars on Justice League. So anime or American comics? Like manga or American style? Because there's this debate going on.
That's a hard
It's not
one.
that you hate one or the other. This game is just, which one you feeling over the other one.
I would say the American style over the manga, but barely, like barely, because there's some
Yeah,
great
I get what you're saying. It's
manga
a, it's a
ones, bro.
neck and neck thing because
It really
they're
is.
telling the story. But we also got that nostalgia because we were raised on that one, so that's what keeps it neck
Right.
and neck. Because nostalgia is kind of like it means a lot. It's always the determining factor. Because if you wasn't raised with something, it wouldn't mean as much because it's kind of more new. So cornflakes or frosted flakes?
Frosted Flakes. I ain't no cornflakes.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
This might get me canceled, but I was not a fan of either or. But I'll say Star Wars.
Not a problem either. Everything ain't. I ain't with that, man. We not monotonous, man. Sometimes you like wild, weird shit. It's just what it is. I like a lot of cartoons that don't make no sense. That's why Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is my favorite franchise of all time. Because when it first came out, it didn't make no sense, but it just had all the coolest shit of the era I grew up in. Had pizza, his skateboarding, his ninjas. Like it was just a check, 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 and check.
Right.
That's all it was. They don't gotta make all that sense, man. Batman or Superman?
Superman for sure.
You'd be surprised how many Batmans I get. I rarely get a Superman, bro. That shit bugs me out. The Joker or Lex Luthor?
The Joker. He's too iconic.
He
For
definitely is
sure.
iconic. Biggie or Tupac?
Pop.
Pac?
R.I.P. to both, but Pop for sure.
Definitely
Yes.
R.I.P. They're both legends, bro. It don't matter. Gina or Pam? I don't have to explain that. Let me see if you catch it, because sometimes I deal with people with different age groups. That's Martin.
I
Hello?
know I'm just trying to
You
think
gotta freeze
because
here.
I feel like people be hating too much on Gina. I'm gonna say Gina. Pam.
You
They
on
was both
Gina?
bad, but Gina.
Yeah, I'm a fan,
You
man,
know.
but I ain't mad at Gina. She was the red bone we grew up with. She was the red bone we grew up with. I ain't mad at her at all, bro. What we got here? Okay. Oh, Transformers or Thundercats?
Transformers. Yeah.
Woo. Definitely iconic. Ain't nothing like Optimus Prime. That voice is just the most. That's the most epic voice they got in this whole cartoon game. Nobody more noble than him, bro. Salt or pepper?
Pepper.
And I'm talking about the group, right? Because
Right. Yeah. I'm about to say you talking
I
about the
know,
group,
because
right?
it can easily be the spice. It can easily be the spice. All right, we're gonna end it off with chocolate or vanilla, and then I got one more to end it off with.
Oh Lord. I'm not a big chocolate fan. I gotta go vanilla.
Yeah. Well, to me, it depends on the case of the food or what the dessert is. Some things better chocolate. Some things are better vanilla. So it's all good. And the last
Exactly,
one I ended off with is where would you rather live? Wakanda or Asgard?
bro. Take me to Wakanda. Absolutely,
Nice. So
Wakanda.
you want the
Yeah.
apartment you want the hut in Wakanda, you don't want the penthouse in Asgard.
No, I don't need it. I don't need all that.
It's
All
all
that.
good. I expect most of my brothers to say Wakanda, but a lot of people like Asgard. The reason I go left field and say Asgard is because all of the most powerful, at least from the MCU, is giving them all of the most powerful weapons in the Marvel universe has passed through Asgard at one time or another. So I'm trying to, I'm trying to get the rings together and shit like that. So I'm going for that power. So I definitely, from seeing it in the movie, I'm like, yo, everything passed through here. Even in the final Avengers when they had to go get all the stones, Asgard had like two or three. They had to make that stop in Asgard. You're looking at the Guardians of the Galaxy because they got that little museum or vault that has all the weapons stored up. Even when I was watching the cartoons growing up, Asgard had all the powerful weapons stored there. But yo, I'm definitely watching your journey. I had to deal with certain personal issues, so I was away for the game. I came back. I seen everybody teaming up, doing their things, and it's beautiful. I'm using comic books as a form of therapy, so it's a beautiful thing to see y'all guys still going from COVID, and I'm cheering everybody on just like a fan. And like I said, this is just a mission for me. It ain't a competition. If I got 6 books, I only got one book out, but if I had 6 books, my only thing I would ask for myself is that one book was better than the other. And that's the only thing I compare it to. You know what I'm saying, you? So on this mission, I wish you the best. And I'm gonna post this I'm gonna post this on the
Thank
YouTube
you.
channel on Spotify, and I'm gonna continue to promote you until the next podcast, and that's what I do with all my guests. So I wish you Godspeed. As soon as I get my act together and I start putting out these books, I'm gonna definitely start networking more with the community once I get my, my personal stuff cleaned up. But I'm using comic books as a form of therapy, and it's really been helping me. And my last question to you before I go is, what would have to happen in this journey of yours for you to say to yourself, "Yo, man, I made it"?
I feel what needs to happen, or what's gonna happen. Let me say it like that. Be happen. What's gonna happen for me to be like I made it is to really find my team and our team. We solidify with each other, develop a brotherhood, and we actually take um a and we just keep climbing that ladder to be our own book. We're selling our own book or
You
whether
cutting up.
we
You
are
breaking up
able
a little
to,
bit. Sorry
you
about
know,
that.
no, you
Okay.
good. I was
Okay.
saying, with being able to get a team, and me and my team, we climb up that ladder to the very top of that ladder. And like I said, whether that the top of that ladder be having our own comic book shop, having our stuff go live action, get a animation, any of that, and just to continuously push out books because I want my universe to be expanding every day and never ending. That's that'll make me feel like what I made it.
No doubt. Everybody, I always ask that because everybody's version of what that looks like is different. You know what I'm saying? Some people want glitz and glamour, but my version of it is just if I got 10 stories that I want to tell, I just want to be able to tell those 10 stories out to
Right.
you know what I'm saying to you, and I got a pad and a pen, and I don't need any money to keep that going. Like I tell anybody, nobody could control your pad and your pen. You don't need any money. All you need is time, enthusiasm, passion, and drive, and those things are intangibles. So just watch what you feed yourself. Don't feed yourself doubt. Don't be around negative people. And just like how you're doing, you're being with individuals that are like minded and enjoy what you're doing. Just find your tribe, like you just said. And that's what I'm trying to do. You find your tribe and they'll keep you inspired because, the marathon continues, as Nip said. Every day life is throwing something new at you. So if you really enjoy what you're doing, like I said, this was therapeutic for me, having to bury family members. So find what's therapeutic and find what you love in life because most people go their whole life and never find what they love. They just be alive. They
True.
don't be living. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So just find what you love. And that's how we gonna end it off. I ain't gonna keep you too long, but it's an honor to thank you for being on my show. I don't
Thank you,
I'm
bro.
humble to myself. I don't know where anyone's gonna be soon, and I pray that y'all are somewhere big. But along the journey, I thank everybody for coming on the show. This is episode 7 of Indie Creators Assemble. And what's your full name? Prince Jackson or Prince Hartsfield? I see. I don't know what it was on
Um,
Facebook.
it's Samuel Prince Jordan Hartsfield.
Samuel Prince Jordan Hartsfield. All right, now I know the whole thing. I just did the Prince. It's all good. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So thank you for joining me on episode number 7, Eminent Comics. They have the entities and a whole bunch of stuff cooking up. I'm going to be tagging them. And go click the link in their bio. Go check out the comic books. And go check out the team ups and the crossovers that they got in store for you. This is Bristol Media Group, Indie Creators Assemble, episode number 7. Thank you for being on, my brother. Have a blessed night.
You too, fam. Appreciate you.
No doubt, brother.